Hello, welcome. Hi, I'm Butt Punch Bova, or Jake, or whatever you want to call me. The most important part is you're here and you're hanging out with us. And in today's video, we're looking at the third in a series of speed build videos for the Franklin County Metropark Zoo. Now, the first two videos we had was the Eurasian lynx and the Egyptian fruit bat. And following this trend for the Twilight DLC, we have the Wombat. We're doing an indoor-outdoor enclosure for the Wombat with a special guest star, the Koala. Now, you might remember the Koala from the Australian DLC pack, a pack that we got about 2 years ago, I believe. It seems like it's been so long, and some of those animals are super underrated. I don't see them a whole lot in people's builds, and I can understand why. Truly, we don't get a whole lot of Australian exhibits, do we? No, I certainly don't think so. So when I saw that the Wombat was on the list of animals, I knew that we had to immediately jump on our Outback Wing for the Franklin County Metropark Zoo. And what we're doing for this one is an indoor-outdoor enclosure that, I found some inspiration on this from Pinterest, and I'm going to drop a link to the image in the description, but what I couldn't find where this house was at. This indoor-outdoor enclosure had to have been somewhere, but the Pinterest link had no information regarding where this existed. Now, the inside of the habitat, right, the indoor piece, was inspired by the Cleveland Zoo. Now, they have an Australian adventure wing for their zoo, and the inside of it had a koala in it, and I thought that this was a fantastic reference. And I think anybody worth their salt when they're building in Planet Zoo has got to be looking up these reference materials, because now who are we to try to remake the wheel, right? Like, this is it's realistic emulation, or at least given the idea of realism, right? I'm not going so far as to put down the pipeworks for the water, but you get the idea that we're trying to go for a more realistic zoo setting. We're not trying to live in a world of fantasy where the animals could totally do as they wish. That just isn't my style. Now, there's plenty of styles to go out there, and there's no sense in doing this any other way but your own. But for me, I wanted to do more of a realistic build. And what we're going for here is a bit of a realistic build for the koala and the wombat. So we got them a lot of indoor habitat and a lot of outdoor habitat because they wanted to go out there and grab some sun. The koala is obviously a climbing animal, which I wish they did more of in the zoo. I feel like they tend to hang out in the ground more than they do in climbing. And that's unfortunate because the koala, from what I understand, hangs out mostly in the trees. And doesn't really venture down to the ground unless they're trying to go from tree to tree. So, hey, Frontier, a quick little update on the koala would be nice. Just a quick one. And as for the wombat is just perfect. I think it's a beautiful little animal. It looks like a loaf of bread with feet, and what's more precious than that? It makes square little poops. It makes the cutest little noises. It yelps. It barks. It's a little nocturnal animal. That's amazing. Now, the koala is also an amazing animal, but we gotta get some more love on this thing, right? Now check this out here. So what we have is an asymmetrical style building, and I think we need to remind ourselves that not all buildings have to be completely symmetrical. I feel like it's an easy thing for a builder to get into, is just to mirror what they're building on one side on the other. But the reality of most construction is that it has to be asymmetrical, right? This is in fact a gateway to the back lot of our Outback Wing, where I plan on doing a walkthrough habitat for the red kangaroo, which Columbus Zoo has a walkthrough habitat for the gray kangaroo. However, they don't have one for the red kangaroo, and I imagine it's because the red kangaroo is incredibly dangerous, right, for guests. And on the other side of the trail, I think we're gonna have a cassowary, which of course will not be a walkthrough habitat. Cassowaries are dangerous velociraptor birds, so I'm not gonna give them the chance to get a human snack, right? But as we're doing this, we're taking a look at the inside of the habitat here. I wanted to give a darker forested feel. I was going to throw an exhibit animal in there as well. I think we ended up on the giant cockroach for our exhibit animal on the side there. But I wanted to give this kind of faux tree area. The wombats will have a burrow. There will be some minimal plants in here. We might do a bit of an homage to the forest inside of here. Just darker, cooler, much an easier place to hang out and get out of the sun, right? Especially on a hot summer day in the Midwest. I mean, those are some nasty summers, I understand, right? Like, they can get up to about 100, 110 degrees Fahrenheit on a bad day. Ugh, I don't want to do it. I tried that once. I went to the Cincinnati Zoo this summer, and it was just miserable. None of the animals wanted to be out. They wanted to be in their indoor habitats, and the indoor habitats were somewhat closed off at the time too, so I thought that was interesting. But we're not letting the people do that. We're going to keep these doors open all year long so people can come in and hang out with the koala and the wombat. And the wombat can use a burrow, but I mean, obviously the koala is not a burrowing animal, so I wanted to give it some trees for it to get into. I tried with the red gum tree. I tried with the eucalyptus tree. I wanted to see the feeders, see how they would work. However, it looked like we couldn't actually stock the feeders because I made the male chute that the koala and wombat can run through. The keepers just can't move through that environment, right? So they aren't able to restock the feeder, which is wildly unfortunate. I'm so ashamed that I didn't see past that. So I had to put in some dead trees instead, and we'll see that once the video is done here. We went through a lot of trial and error with the climbing frame of the koala on this one. I really wanted to give them a lot of climbing space because I assumed, much as anybody else would, that they would just want to be climbing non-stop all the time. Otherwise, what with the little yard we have them, I just wanted to get a little bit of foliage, some grass work, some dry grass. Just trying to keep it sparse, and with quite a lot of leaf cluttered here. I wanted to give the impression that this is, again, not something that the keepers can easily move into, but it wouldn't be so easy for the koala just to run around and eat everything and do as they wish. Now, I understand they eat only eucalyptus, and that's toxic to koalas. So what's that about? So apparently that is why they sleep for 20 hours a day, is because they're eating poison. They're eating poison, and it's corroding their brain. If you open up a koala skull, God forbid, first off, I don't recommend this for anybody who's not a trained professional, but if you open up a koala and observe its brain, from what I hear, it's a smooth-brained animal. It doesn't have a whole lot of folds in there, not a whole lot going on in the koala's brain, but it must be because it is sleeping for 20 hours a day and eating poison. A horrid thing. Can you imagine a life? Like, I actually, looking at my current schedule right now, actually I wouldn't mind 20 hours of sleep, but as a lifestyle choice, I simply cannot support it. No, okay, I'm off that subject. What I have here on the side here is a giant cockroach, which is native to Australia, native to the Oceania area. I wanted to get something larger, like a snake or a lizard, but unfortunately the Australian snakes and lizards all have that desert biome area inside of their exhibits. And hey, Frontier, thanks for the exhibit update. I love that we now have population control in there, so those exhibits can just, print money, and that's fantastic. But I would love to see some more decorations or maybe a couple animations added to the pre-existing animals. The cockroaches should be just scurrying about nonsense-wise. And I'd like to see some of these animals with a bit more variation in their environment. I mean, this one single tree, or the bamboo, or the little pond that we have for the aquatic animals, like, it's all well good, but I kind of want to mix it up a little bit. I mean, the fruit bat is a great example of an exhibit with a lot of options and variety and how you can build it. I kind of just want that for the rest of our exhibits. I feel like the rest of them need some love, especially now that we have really small animals that are free walking, like the prairie dog and the meerkat, right? that those really small animals that we assumed were too small to even animate work really well in a zoo, and our iguana just kind of sits there and bobs its head. Now I understand that's kind of what iguanas do, but the bad boy needs a little bit of love. Now I have a bit of a theory. Okay, so in the next few days, you know, I'm recording this on the 2nd of November, so by the time this releases, this news will already have dropped. But I'm gonna go ahead and put some feelers out in the world. Planet Zoo is having its 3rd anniversary live stream event. It's gonna be 2 hours long, and they promised us that they're gonna have some special guests. Now, I understand that we have some really popular streamers. I, for one, did get an invite. It's okay. You know, I don't mind too much. So we're probably going to see the likes of Caesar and Rudy and Delady. You know, they're probably all going to be there. Maybe Zoof will be there as well. They're probably going to hang out and work with the team. However, I think they're going to introduce a special guest star. I think, what with the exhibit, walkthrough exhibit being a free item that all of us got without buying the Twilight DLC, I feel like that exhibit is going to get a free DLC animal. That's just me. I think that that's on me, and what I'd love to see for that is, of course, the sloth. Oh, the sloth is a big animal. What's gonna happen there? Isn't it dangerous? It's a sleeping animal. It hangs upside down, these weird boys. I think it's a wonderful idea to have a sloth in a walkthrough exhibit, because one, they don't do a whole lot of movement. You can probably put 1 or 2 in there. They're gonna be on an animation loop, what with them moving in maybe a track around their enclosure, right? Sloth 1, Sloth 2, Sloth 3, whatever, however many sloths you can fit in there, put them on an animation loop, make them walk around their area, and guests can just like walk through. I think that would be a wonderful idea. My second guess is, of course, a couple of small birds. Parakeets, maybe some aviary finches, birds of paradise, something small that they can still use the animation loops that they have for the bat. I think that'd be a fantastic idea. Or maybe even a larger bat. The flying fox is a great example. It's a bit bigger than the Egyptian fruit bat, but I think it'd be a fantastic idea. Anyways, what I'm doing here, we're working on some bathrooms for our outside area. I've noticed that my guests just really need to go, and when you gotta go, you gotta go. So I'm giving them a bit of an awning here, and quick little PSA on building in Planet Zoo. Now I know you don't have to do this because rain doesn't affect Planet Zoo like it does in the real world. But if you're going to make a flat surface with an entrance, you have to do some gutter work. And this is a design element that keeps water from pounding into the foundation of a building and causing damage to the building or falling directly on a guest's head. You don't want water to be trickling on somebody's head. So gutters are something that the zoo game has, and what you can do is place them around areas that the guests will be walking, or perhaps on areas like a slanted roof so that the water doesn't immediately go and damage the foundation of the ground. Now this is just something that if you're doing a realistic build, like that makes sense. Like not a big deal if you're not doing that, but it was something that was super important. Oh, okay, all right. I need to talk about this part of the video really quick. So I'm trying to make a little fence area for the koalas, and what I'm doing, unfortunately, is I'm trying to make a fenced area, but it's not working with the grid. It's not working where you can duplicate it and it goes left and right. It always wanted to like go diagonal, and that was just a shame. Like I couldn't just like quickly make one, so I had to take liberty into my own hand and do action and make my own little fence. So I'm not great at making fences. It's not my forte, but I did myself a service and I made a little fence for the outside of my area because I can't get people directly put their fingers up onto the fence wall here. People would get hurt. Now let's get into the live stuff, huh? Let's get to the live thing. Let's watch this thing in media res. All right, now we're here in the live build section. As you see, I did a little bit of gutter work, just like we said. The gutters are super important. However, they can be a little time consuming, so I try to do them off camera. We have the people here, and they're checking out our two big furry friends here, the wombats, and coming down from the tree is a very glitchy koala. Is that what's happening? Oh, you're adorable and horribly broken. Frontier, fix that. Fix that, man. We'll get a better look at you as you come in. I'm sure you're gonna want to come inside and sit up on your own trees indoors. But yeah, we did this, and that's broken, but that's okay. Yeah, we did a little bit of gutter working here, and I think it's just a perfect way to show off the realistic sides of a zoo. But I'm gonna come in with these nice doors, take a gander at the garden, and back here we'll have the rest of the Australian wing. The Australian Adventure, I kind of like that. It has a nice zing to it. Some side doors here, and those are for the keepers to feed the wombats and the giant cockroach. And there we go, we have our giant cockroaches here, a whole group of them. They're not doing a whole lot, so hey, Frontier, get on that. They can at least scurry. At least scurry around, right? Speaking of scurrying about, this is the inside of our koalas and our wombats. We did a bit of a mural back here, kind of a faux mural to show off a bit more excitement in our jungly forested environment, such as the way of this indoor habitat. Love this beam of light coming through here. Great stuff on the light. I love that it works. You know, it's really pretty. We have some stuff for the kids to play with. We have some seating arrangements. Very simple, you know, not a big deal. Not a whole lot to it. And that's okay. It's an indoor habitat for a small animal. Hello. Look at you. You're adorable. You're absolutely adorable. You know that? Love that. Love that for us. Let's keep going. We're gonna come out the other side here. And if we want, we can use the restroom back here. You know, no big deal. Take a little break. Or come out to the side. Check out our bat house, if you will. Or take a look over here and look at our wombats as they scurry about in their own habitat. Awesome stuff. Well, that's it for folks. That's it. You know, we did all we could. Tune in next time where we'll take a look at another animal, the next speed build in our series. And I'm just gonna leave us here with this beautiful indoor shot of our friend who is leaving, the koala. Love it. Thanks, guys. Like and subscribe for more, you know, that whole deal. Anyways, be good.